Yo, what is good, YouTube, and welcome back to another JC2K video. In today's video, we're going to be talking about how to build the best salary cap team possible right now here in Season 1 of NBA 2K23 MyTEAM. Before we hop into the video, if you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Help me push towards the 13,000 subscriber mark on the channel. I'm uploading an absurd amount of content, just getting videos out to y'all every single day. I would really appreciate if y'all do subscribe. And yeah, without further ado, let's hop right into it. So salary cap as a mode is definitely something that you want to focus on at least a little bit. This round has 13 days, 15 hours when I'm recording it. It's going to be 12 days and some odd hours when y'all see this video because I'm recording it Friday, releasing it on Saturday. But point being, you have 12 days left to get this Ruby Brent Berry card, and I actually haven't really looked at these mode rewards too much. I will do a video on the mode rewards specifically and like the season 1 reward cards here, actually maybe coming today, but it may have already come out actually. But with that being said, salary cap, you do have to get this Brent Berry card to get Amethyst Victor Oladipo at the end of the season, who I'd like to pick up for the squad. And overall, some pretty good rewards in here as well. Get some tokens and some stuff, as well as some MT and some things. And it's kind of a fun, shorter game mode as well. Definitely something that I'm enjoying playing. So for me personally, I think it's definitely worth getting some games in here and playing. It might be a little less sweaty as well, and a little more balanced than Unlimited, which also gives it a plus because it is restricted to only 10,000 points. And as y'all can see, my main lineup is 16,900 points, which is way over that salary cap. So obviously that's not going to work. And that's even with an emerald and a couple of golds on my team. It's not even like a full Ruby type squad. So I have a very good team, of course, but for salary cap specifically, I actually have a salary cap lineup made, but I'm not even going to do it right now. I'm just going to show y'all how I would build a salary cap lineup right now. We're just going to work from scratch, basically. So salary cap 2 right here. So point guard position, amethysts are worth 2,000. I don't actually know what diamonds are worth yet because I haven't looked at Kyrie's value, and I don't have him or Brandon Roy obviously yet. So rubies are 1,200, sapphires are 900, amethysts are, emeralds are 700, and then golds are going to be 500. So those are the card tiers you're going to be working with right now, and the prices on them. But I do think the point guard position is a very, very important position. One of honestly probably the most important, to have somebody who I think can create shots and get open, and also get into the paint so he can create shots for his teammates. I think the point guard position is probably the most important position. So I want a good point guard, and when I'm looking at this, I'm thinking it's either Damian Lillard or Darius Garland. Damian Lillard is very good, but there's a big gap between the amethyst value and the ruby value in salary cap. So 2,000 points for Damian Lillard or 1,200 points for Darius Garland. For me, I think even though Darius Garland isn't quite as good, that 800 extra points will be really useful for me. I mean, that's 2/3 of the value of a Ruby right there that I'm saving by using Darius. So I think he's going to be a great option for me at the point guard position. Can shoot, can create good sigs, nice and fast, can dunk the ball a little bit. Very good card. Now, shooting guard position, kind of a similar thought process here. I want somebody good. I want somebody who can knock down shots and be a secondary ball handler. And when I'm thinking about it, I'm thinking of a guy like Desmond Bane. This card, 50 reward card, or for 50 player rewards, is great. So 86 3 ball, he can dunk the ball a little bit. He's got not a good defender particularly, but he does have 80 perimeter, 74 speed and excel, 80 lateral quickness. He's a pretty solid card. Can shoot the 3 at a high level. Very, very solid card. Again, better value than a guy like Clay as well. So it's all about value at these positions. Finding the best value combined with still having some very good cards on your team. So we'll go 2 rubies. That's 2,400 points already, which is a lot, no doubt about it. But one thing I will say is we're just going to throw some golds at the end of the bench. So does it really matter that much, to be completely honest, how I do this? If I'm just going to throw some golds at the end of the bench, like let's just throw some guys here. These are only 500 apiece. So that's 3,900 right there that we just saved. Now, the question is, do you want to build a 10-man? Do you want to build a 12-man? And that's the tough question that we kind of have to answer. But for right now, we'll go to the center position, which I think is the next most important position on the court. You do have a couple of options. I have a couple of options. I could go the top tier guy with a guy like Weber and Al Horford, or I go a little more budget with Paulo Banchero, or truly budget with a guy like Al Harrington. Could play power forward. He couldn't play center. Center position, again, very important, I think. So I think you probably want to have somebody at a high level. If you're going to go a budget guy, though, it's going to be Kristaps Porzingis. I'm just going to say that that's the guy to go for if you're looking for a budget center. For me personally, right now, because they nerfed Porzingis' speed, I'm going to go with the Ruby center and Paulo Banchero, and then I'm also going to go Ruby power forward, and I'm going to go Lamar Odom, who's a very, very good card as well. So we'll pick up another very, very good option there. And then at the small forward position, see, we could go a guy like Andre Iguodala. So we go all these guys, though. If we go 5 rubies here, which we could do a 5 ruby starting lineup, and then we just throw, because each ruby is 1,200, that means it's a total of 6,000. So then there's Yes, a total of 6,000 points, and there's 4,000 points for these last 8 spots, which would require them all to be gold. So I could run a 5-man lineup like this, and I think this is probably what I would recommend for most people, because I think this gets you the best balance and total of like quality team on the court right now. So this is my opinion, at least, on what I would probably run, is a 5-man lineup, something like this, where you're going with guys who aren't quite as expensive as the top cards in the game in terms of their salary cap or their actual price, but are still very good cards. These Ruby cards are very, very solid, but I do think there are a couple of other options as well. I don't think you need to go quite as high level with some of these upgrades. Like, I'm just going to move Lamar Odom out of here right now. We'll just remove him from the lineup, actually. And the guy I'm actually going to replace him with is Kristaps Porzingis, because I think having KP as an emerald, which saves you 500 points right there, that matters, because now I have a little bit more depth that I could put on my bench. Like, if I want to, I can try to put a guy like an emerald Robert Pack down here, who's a really nice budget point guard, can dunk and shoot at a very solid level. So now I have a substitute at PG because of tiredness. Obviously, a guy like Wembanyama, even, who is going to be valued as a gold, is going to be a really good option as well as a center option that I could substitute in, because he is so big, even though he is going to struggle a little bit, obviously, in terms of speed, and he can't shoot the ball, but still. And then that still leaves me with what's my salary cap at right now? 8,200. So yeah, I still could put another emerald card on my bench as well, which gives me a little bit more upgrade spot, adding a couple more emeralds. I think with somebody like a Porzingis, I can throw a guy like Shaden Sharp in here as well, so I have a couple of backup guards. I think is the way to go. Doesn't really look like there's a ton of really good gold cards right now. Jonathan Isaac might be okay. Wemby's good because he's big, but I wouldn't say he's that great of a card. Kiki Vandeweghe can shoot. That's about his main value. So I don't really plan on ever putting these gold cards in, though, but I have Kiki, Jonathan Isaac, Vit Wemby, who can play. I think guys like Robert Pack and Shaden Sharp can play a couple minutes, and then you have KP as well. Or you could go the full Ruby way. Either way, for me personally, I think your best bet is going to be to have mainly top cards, at least at the most important positions. Have very, very good cards that you feel confident with, and then you don't really need that much of a bench, because I think your top cards, when you have top tier cards at a few positions, it kind of can overpower, even if they're not like the Amethyst. Like, you have a pretty balanced mix of top tier cards with these rubies, and then a couple of good budget type emeralds. And for me personally, I just think this is kind of the way to go. But you could also go the 5-man lineup, but this gives you a little more depth. Either way, it's all about balance. Would not really recommend using amethysts here. And it's important to make sure you're not starting gold cards, you're not starting bums. Make sure you have balance. Don't run an amethyst point guard, an amethyst center, an amethyst shooting guard, and the rest of your team has to be, because you used 6,000 points right there. You literally can't even run 3 amethysts, I don't think. But like, point being, don't use a couple amethysts and then use the rest of your team being golds, because that's just not going to be worth it at all. It's going to make the game really go pretty poorly for you. Make sure you have balance, and if you have balance and get some good options, even if you're a budget player, you can find these good budget options, guys like Robert Pack and KP and Mike Miller and Shaden Sharp, etc. You can find guys who will fit, but make sure you have balance, you have floor spacing, and hey, have a couple top tier cards if you can, and that'll give you a really good chance at having a lot of success here in clutch time. And yeah, that is going to do it for this video. So hopefully y'all did enjoy. If you did, make sure you hit that like button, leave a comment, and subscribe. I'll be back with more 2K content very, very soon, and I appreciate y'all.